This is the cell cycle. The cell cycle starts in interphase, where it completes G1, where the cell grows and does normal functions, and then moves on to the S phase, where DNA is copied, before moving on to G2, where there's more growth and cell gets ready to divide. After interphase, the cell moves into mitosis, where it begins prophase, where chromosomes condense, and then metaphase, where chromosomes line up in the middle, before moving on to anaphase, where chromatids are pulled apart, and then telophase, where two nuclei form, and then finally cytokinesis, where the cell splits into two identical daughter cells.
Interphase is the longest part of the cell cycle, and it's when the cell is growing and preparing to divide. There are three gaps, or stages. G1 phase, where the cell grows larger and makes more organelles and it performs its daily functions. S phase, the cell copies all of its DNA. Each chromosome becomes two identical sister chromatids. G2 phase, the cell checks the new DNA for errors and makes proteins and materials needed for division. This is all in prepare for mitosis. In interphase, the S phase, which stands for synthesis, the cell copies all of its DNA, and each chromosome becomes two identical sister chromatids.
During prophase, the first step of mitosis, chromatin condenses into chromosomes, the nucleolus disappears, the nuclear envelope begins to break down, the spindle fibers form, and finally the centrioles move to opposite poles. During metaphase, the second step of mitosis, chromosomes line up in the center in the cell's equator, spindle fibers fully attached to the chromosome.
Telophase is the stage of mitosis where the cell starts finishing division and rebuilding its nuclei. Chromosomes reach opposite ends of the cell. They uncoil and return to thin, string-like chromatin. This is also the phase where two new nuclear membranes form around each set of chromosomes. The cell is almost done dividing, and cytokinesis usually begins during this phase. Cytokinesis is the final step of cell division, and it's all about splitting the cell into two separate cells. The cytoplasm divides, the cell pinches in two, and each new cell gets its own nucleus and full set of organelles. In result, there are two identical daughter cells.